welcome to today's podcast, where I'm joined by an international guy, Mr. Ravi Trivedi. So welcome to the show, Ravi. It's a pleasure having you. Ravi is the founder of PushEngage, PushEngage.com for anyone who doesn't know what that is. And we'll talk about PushEngage in just a moment. But Ravi, welcome to the show. We met at the SEMrush conference in India back in December in Bangalore. It was a great event. And what I will say is, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly at all, but India is such a lovely place. Very welcoming people. Had an amazing time out there. It was definitely somewhere I would highly recommend to anyone going out there. The hospitality and the people are awesome. Amazing time. So, and obviously it was a super event, and obviously meeting smart guys like yourself out there was also great. There's a whole bunch of amazing people out in India doing some amazing stuff. Yeah, it was mind blowing. Just hearing, I wasn't totally not aware that India had all these smart guys and software and tools and everything else. But when you meet them all in person, everyone is just so smart and doing different things. It was just mind blowing.
Awesome. I'm glad you had a great experience.
It was very busy though. It was a very crazy on the roads when people were driving. That was crazy. But yeah, amazing event, amazing people. So yeah, some great stuff out there. But for anyone who doesn't know much about you, Ravi, can you just give us a bit of a background on your experience and how you've got to where you are at PushEngage?
Sure. Thanks. First of all, thanks for having me, and welcome everyone. So I started my career at Hewlett Packard as a software engineer, went on to do sales and marketing for them, and then did an MBA and switched to a finance career. Was on Wall Street, then became a venture capitalist, invested, and through that I actually experienced, working at a startup. Had a special scenario working on a lead gen startup, which is our portfolio, that got me really into marketing. I love the marketing aspect of that. And when I decided to do my own startup a few years back, I moved back to India, and I've been building startups. This is my second one. The interesting part about this startup is this came out of our first one, which was actually a couponing site. And what we were always looking for were new tools for marketers that would give the ROI. And in around 2015, when Chrome announced support for web push, we were internally already developing something for that, and we saw a huge ROI. We thought this is going to be a huge channel given web is so big as compared to say mobile app, and we just turned around and made it a product. And today, PushEngage, we serve customers in over 150 countries, doing around 5 billion push notification, several thousand sites with us, and several large customers with us. So we're very proud that we've been able to, grow fast along with the industry here.
So the amazing history and quite you mentioned prior to coming on here, quite a unique journey.
Sure.
Yeah, normally you hear people saying, yeah, I really like marketing and started from scratch and built up, but you've obviously done some other amazing stuff as well, venture capitalist and everything. It's great to hear how other people find themselves in this industry. So yeah, but onto PushEngage, which is what I really want to talk to you about. So being out in India, I seen your some of your colleagues from PushEngage, and I was like, I was always sitting in the fence when it came to push messages, because I know people have had them for a number of years, and I always felt they were kind of irritating, and I'm like, never ever have that on your website, Craig. Do not do it. Don't ask me why. I just had this thing that it would annoy people. But I have been playing about with it for the past couple of months, and obviously the click-through rate and everything is really good. I don't use it too heavily, from an e-commerce point of view or anything like that. More just when I'm, releasing a podcast or whatever, I'll push that out to the active subscribers and stuff. And yeah, it's slowly growing. well, but obviously Push Engage is not just about pushing your podcasts out there. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that, and obviously abandoned carts and stuff like that for people with e-commerce. But be curious to know, Ravi, what obviously you're seeing, the thousands of people per day using Push Engage. What are the main uses or the main benefits? For me, I'm a blogger, and I know there's guys out there who have got e-commerce who will be using it for a slightly different purpose. But can you talk to me about the kind of main benefits you're seeing across the board for bloggers? What's the main things to be doing?
Sure. So the great question. So I was going to begin by saying, if you think about web push notifications, you should be thinking about what is the problem they're solving. The key problem websites have is they get visitors only once and they don't come back to their site. So what you're trying to do is increase your repeat visitors. Now, when you look into things that can help you increase your repeat visitors or engagement, you have email marketing. You could be doing retargeting using Google or Facebook Pixel, or you could be doing text messaging, or you could be doing mobile app messaging. So among those channels, we have done a couple of studies, and we've seen that today web push ranks very high in terms of ROI as compared to all of them. So that's the first point I was going to say. If you're doing any kind of engagement, look at web push, and this is one of those newer channels, so people are not aware of that. So, and why is that? I mean, what we have found is email historically had some of the challenges around open rates and click rates, and this channel, the first difference is you are guaranteed a view for your message as long as the user is online. So all of a sudden your open rates, if you just do a funnel comparison of email versus web push, all of a sudden they become very high, and so that actually in itself lends to much higher engagement and click. So very quickly, any user we have seen who is using this product is able to almost always exceed their email clicks in some sense, because this is even at smaller base driving more engagement to them. So that's been the first thing, high level. Now coming to, I guess, the way to think about web push is, again, I know a lot of us have this belief that, okay, maybe when I see the web push, I may not click allow. And I think part of it is a little bit of a generation thing. This is where we see younger people more open to push notifications than slightly older. But so that's one slice of looking at it. The other way of looking, I believe, is what is it that you're offering to the customer. Now, if I'm a customer, let's say, and I want to know about the latest Google algorithms, and I believe on SEO, and I believe Craig is an authority, and I want to know every time when he writes an article on SEO, now I can say, hey, can you please send me an alert when you publish a new article on SEO? Now that will be something that's useful to me, and for that I would love to subscribe. So I think for each site you got to create those unique cases where the customers are deriving a lot of value, where they don't have to go and check your site every time and you reach them. So that's the first thing. Another example on this is around price alerts, right? I may be looking for, let's say, a ticket from London to New York, and I'll say, hey, if it falls below $500, send me an alert. So those are the classic where you love to get those. It saves money, it saves you time, and that's kind of the underpinning. Now, the next layer of good push notifications is personalization and context, which means, hey, I'm looking for this ticket from London to New York, then please send me around that messages. Or if I'm interested in SEO, don't send any data on PPC. Maybe I'm not a PPC marketer. So stuff like that. So those are the high level, if you do personalization well, if you know the context of the user and send relevant notifications, they really love it. So that's the thing. Now coming to your question on bloggers. So what we have seen for bloggers, what does very well is, like the campaign I said, you may have 5 or 6 topics you write on the blog, and not everybody may want to receive all of them. Some may want to receive all, in which case every time you publish a blog you send them a notification. But some others may want to say, hey, if you write on SEO, please send me an alert when you publish. So that's the first use case. The second I have seen with bloggers is a lot of the bloggers are maybe monetizing using doing some kind of a courses or some kind of other content, which lends itself very well to what we call as a drip or an autoresponder. The way it works is you are sending like a time series of nurturing messages to a person. Let's say I'm interested in WordPress hosting or how to host a blog on WordPress, and I went to a blogger who's an authority in that, and he 3 steps, he's going to send you a notification around that in day 1, day 5, or day 7. So those are like two of those high level campaign idea for bloggers that are doing exceedingly well. I mean, outside that, there are many. I mean, like you also said, on e-commerce, the use cases are much broader because you're engaging in many variety of capacities, and I'm happy to chat more if you want.
Yeah, no, listen, I was just curious on the blogger side, but yeah, also for people listening, people who have e-commerce websites. So I'd love to hear, the kind of key things to do for, with PushEngage and obviously e-commerce stores
Sure.
to try and get people back.
Yeah, so I think on e-commerce, again, this data and whatever we are sharing is based on so many sites that we have. See, the top campaigns for e-commerce which we see work is number one, like you said, the abandoned cart. That's the bottom of the funnel campaign. The user has added to the cart. Maybe they got distracted because they maybe got a phone call or something, and they just abandoned the cart. So those are the cases where we have seen several case studies, where when you do abandoned cart, you're seeing 10 to 20% conversion rates on those push notifications. So that's the number one. Another data point I was going to say was we also did a comparison because a lot of people do abandon cart through emails. So one of the common questions they say is, hey, should I do abandon cart through email versus web push? And what our analysis says is that if you did web push based abandoned cart, you probably get 5x more reach. And the reason for it is email may get hidden down. You want to do an abandoned cart maybe an hour or hour and a half after somebody has abandoned, like fairly quickly. And because it reaches real time, we have seen 5x bigger reach. So abandoned cart is the number one. Number two campaign is what we call as browse abandon, which is like, hey, I like this t-shirt, I saw it 3 times in last 7 days, but I didn't do anything. Now can I send something around that? So that's the browse abandon. Then we have seen great reception on the price alerts and inventory alerts, right? Price alert is, hey, if it's 20% down, some people provide that. And we have, for all of these campaigns I'm talking about, is all there in our platform. Again, we think we are among the leading platform globally. Again, I must just quickly put in a line that G2 Crowd and several other directories which rank web push vendors based on the reviews have us as a high performer for now 7 quarters in a row. So all these campaigns are all there in our platform. So price alert, for example, like I was saying, is another one very popular. Or inventory alert, hey, this thing is out of stock, just send me a notification. So again, it's not like all the email campaigns will move over here, but some of them are better done through push, which are more real time in nature, more alert type in nature, or any flash sales. So those are the classic e-commerce campaigns, I would say.
Amazing. I think it's a very simple um, implementation that people are not using as much, which I find flabbergasting. When I was having a look through your website, one, the cost of it is very, very cheap.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's very cheap anyway. And two, what you can do, and as you say, get people back to the website. People are using Facebook retargeting, and various other things that all cost money, but they don't always think about push messages. And what I would always say to people is embrace new technology. If you're going to be like me, and ignorant towards it, where I was just like, nah, it's not going to work, it can't work. For the small amount I do use PushEngage in terms of getting people back onto reading the blogs and stuff, the kind of click-through rate and stuff's very high. So very simple and easy to implement. But obviously you're doing billions, and you said, I can't remember, I think you said 5 billion push notifications per month. Out of all of those push notifications, who is the main person? Is it e-commerce? Is it bloggers? Or is it 50-50? Who are really implementing this stuff? Is it e-com? I would imagine it must be e-com websites.
Sure. Yeah. So for the customer base is kind of 50-50 between publishers and bloggers. So we categorize bloggers as another news site. So we have several news sites globally, newspaper sites, right? I mean, for example, in Netherlands, we are live with Peers Group, which is the largest news group. We are live in India with Times Now. So what ends up happening is a lot of these breaking news alerts. So that's one set. And the second set is obviously, the e-commerce customers, right? And of course, in the news, I'm also including bloggers as well. So those are the two big ones. And again, for e-commerce, it's like, okay, you have a flash sale, for 3 hours. Guess if you send out an email, probably the person is probably not reading before, and the sale is over, right? So this is like perfect for some of those use cases, and it just drives conversion like anything. I mean, these alerts have this sense of urgency, and if you personalize it, right, I mean, you can have personalization to the degree of the name, whatever else, like, and the product you browse, and then it's just so those are that's why we see, and again, part of it is we have a lot of customers as well, large customers who use us. And again, I know, Craig, you started using, I mean, I think you can also use for a variety of use cases like I was sharing. I mean, you can do a lot more, I feel, from where you are.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, Ravi. Since I've signed up for it, although I do have it on there, you're right. I'm not utilising it anywhere near as much as I should. But that, what I wanted to do is install it, get some organic people,
Sure.
signing up, and then have a play about with it properly. But yeah, I've just not had that much time to, mess about with it too much. But having a look at your case studies, what I find flabbergasting as well is the range of different businesses. I've just seen there that
Yeah.
Charlton Athletic Football Club were using it for the match tickets and various
Correct.
other things as well, which is awesome. And obviously, I've got a good friend, Harsh, who is from Shout Me Loud.
Uh-huh.
He's used
Yeah.
it as well.
He uses
So
our product as well. Yeah, I mean, so I would say it's like this is like a horizontal thing, like just like text messaging or SMS or, just like email. And so, tons of use cases, right? And I can tell you like some of the things from in my mind for you, which could be useful for other of your customers. Like if you're a blogger, this is the automation I would do.
yep,
Number one, I would segment users based on what kind of content are they reading. Let's say you're a blogger, and in case of, say, Hirsch, okay, are you looking for WordPress blogging? Are you looking for SEO? Are you looking for affiliate? And you can make those categories based on what customers are looking for. This is again a very powerful feature. We have this thing called auto segmentation in my system. In our system, rather, you can say this is the rule, like, okay, this URL, if you visited, there are some patterns we can give to the system. The pattern the system recognizes automatically, all your list is now segmented into those buckets. Now the other thing you can then do is we call the autoresponder or the drip, which means the moment somebody is added to, let's say, a bucket called SEO, which means he just came to your site and read an SEO article. Now from that, you can send, let's say, an article on SEO maybe one day later, which is called the drip or autoresponder. So the powerful combination of segment plus autoresponder actually is the most what should I say, used feature for bloggers, and one of the most easiest, because you don't have to ask your developer to do anything. Once the 2 lines of JavaScript is done from our dashboard, you can configure it, and all of a sudden everybody is getting this personalized series of messages based on what they did, and that's just increasing the ROI tremendously for all these bloggers.
So obviously, as a blogger, I've got more than, I think about 300 and odd what I would call good articles based around SEO and digital marketing. It's obviously some of those older articles are still very popular. Within your automation, is there a way to automate where people can be sent just randomly SEO articles? Is that how it works? Or does it always have to be something that's newly published?
Yeah, so you can send old articles as well, right? So one of the common drip people do is a welcome drip also, which is like, you just subscribe to my site, I'll send you 3 articles as a welcome, and they send the most popular, which are like the cornerstone of your site. And so that's just, you can absolutely do. It's not only recent ones, and this becomes a great way of increasing engagement on those pages,
Yeah,
because people are, and then they kind of become more sticky, loyal subscriber. Because what has happened, if you think about it, they came to your site maybe based on a search result, and they read an article. Maybe that was good article, but that's not the best that you ever produced. Now
yeah,
you made them a subscriber, and all of a sudden the first article is the best that you ever written on your site, and you know that, and you send that, and all of a sudden now they became a loyal user. And then you send another one, which is the second best. And so what people do in the welcome drip is put their 1 or 2 or 3 articles which are the best they've ever produced, and that makes them a loyal reader. And that's just a great technique. I mean, we have seen for bloggers work out.
yeah. No, I think it's obviously something I wasn't aware of, because when I've got the plugin and stuff installed in my website, I've got the box where I can, either push it out, and it's always new articles I can send out through push message. But I wasn't aware if I had to go through old articles, republish, and tick that box.
Yeah. So what you have is what we call as a simple automated install in the WordPress. There is another place where you can go to, which is our dashboard. If you open our tool in entirety, if you come to pushengage.com and log in, you will see a breadth of stuff. So what we encourage is, if you're a blogger who doesn't have the time, the method that you use that is perfect, which is like inside the dashboard, nothing to do, single checkbox, right? And so that's worked great. But for the remaining stuff which I'm talking about, all this automation, you can come to our dashboard, configure it, and you can send just like you do to any email marketing tool.
Yeah.
And you will pleasantly surprised that we have a ton of automation there. And again, that automation is a thing that makes it so powerful. And once you set it up, that's it. You don't have to log in too often, and it just keeps on working for you. So
yeah, that's what we like, though. Automation. Make sure that your tool is continuing to promote the material that we've got out there. And I think, for SEO reasons and everything, just getting that click-through rate and everything is obviously going to help. Your SEO in general anyway. So I don't know why people, as I say, I kick myself all the time for ignoring it. But one thing I did want to ask you, Ravi, was obviously people, sign up. When they go onto your website, it comes up saying, do you want to allow push notifications? Is there any other kind of ways where I can drive more people to subscribe?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So there is a lot of science and art behind, I wouldn't say science, a lot of numbers or analytics and optimization you can do to what we call as subscription rates. What you're talking about is, how should I gather subscribers? Should I show the pop-up right away? And should I have a multi-step opt-in, or should I have a single step? And there is a ton of stuff that you can do there. Number one, the first answer is absolutely, you can have multiple ways to collect subscriber. One is just when they land. The other could be on a button click, or when they read the article at the bottom of the page. Many elements are there in the tool. The second most important point is that we have this analytics which gives you the true subscription rate, which means how many times did I show the pop-up for web push subscription, and how many people allowed and denied. And using that along with the settings we have, like how many seconds later should you open it, should you open on a scroll, you can do many experiments in our tool and arrive at what optimizes for your subscription rate. And so that's like the thing I was going to say. So the two parts of your answer, one is absolutely, apart from the page load, when people land, you can do button and other elements. But the second part is you can keep on optimizing the subscription rate using these analytics. So I think maybe, Craig, we should go on a deep dive demo call like we do for any enterprise customer. Then you try to see some of the analytics and some of the stuff we have. It's just amazing.
You'll probably kill me, but I literally have it pop up straight away when people hit the website, and that's it. That is it. So that's absolute garbage from me, which I'm going to reach out to your team and do a demo call, because whilst we're in this coronavirus situation, I want to make sure that I knuckle down and sort all of these things out, because I'm the type of guy who thinks that PushEngage is a great idea, and I subscribe to it and I install it on the website, and then I kind of forget about it. And I'm sure you must get that all the time.
Yeah.
And just utilize it to probably 2% of its capacity. And although, as I say, I can see positive and a definite good click-through rate, I'm only using it, to the very bare basics. I've got no automation. I've got no segmentation, nothing. There's no optimization whatsoever on the on what I've got. And what really I'm trying to do with everything that I'm doing, whether it be podcasts or whatever, is obviously just to drive traffic to my website. Get people onto the website, and even when I do a podcast like this, I'll do a blog post about it as well, which will obviously turn into kind of push notification blog post, and you're going to be on there, and we're going to be talking about PushEngage. But it's all with a view to driving traffic back to my website, and I'm not taking advantage of that in terms of, you know, the technology and everything else that's out there. I still do a lot of email marketing, which is a pain in the backside. So, you know, doing this and automating it, I really do feel like kicking myself for not taking it.
Yeah, and I have two things to add. I was going to say, as many clicks you drive from email, you should be able to drive that many clicks through web push very quickly. That's one benchmark for you. The second, I think you alluded to a very good point I didn't touch on early, is like the cost of retargeting is very high. And we have done a study saying if your retargeting click is like 50 cents or 50 pence, over here it's like 0.002 pence or something, right? So you absolutely must increase the clicks, also use it in the retargeting. And when I say the word retargeting, what we mean is we know what the user did on the site, assuming you want to capture that intent, and then based on that send a totally personalized and a notification which could say, hey Craig, I know you read this article on SEO, and then something like that. So it's just a super personal and contextual, that just drives the phenomenal. I mean, the click-through you're seeing is like for a regular blast. When you see those personalized ones, they just off the roof is what I was going to say. And that's just and we would love you to, and slowly this happens. We have seen over time customers first gather subscribers, then we start adding. So it's not, I mean, you can be kind on yourself, it's okay, and we'll help you start using it more, but it's great. So.
Yeah, it's just the frustrating, well, it's not frustrating for me because I know it's going to take time to build up the subscribers, but like, for example, yesterday I gave away a free online SEO course, and I've had 3,000 people sign up to it. Now, what the job next, and this is done on a different platform called Thinkific, which is obviously an e-learning platform, but then obviously what I want to do is somehow market these people via email, get them onto the website, and then sign up to my push notifications. So I'm doing half of the job and just not fulfilling it all to the best of my ability. But for someone like me, who is quite easy, I find it quite easy to get people to sign up to things. Is there a way through email marketing that I could launch something? Because I use Active Campaign for email marketing. Launch that out to the masses and somehow generate a ton of subscribers.
Sure. So there could be two ways of doing this. One could be you do an active campaign and send out an email, and they land on a page where they can subscribe. Or they'll click on a link that lands them to subscribe. And that's possible where you can cross promote. But I was going to also say the beauty of web push is not only looking at the subscribers which you already have through email, but the beauty is that today, what I want to share one more thing is that we see between 15 to 20% subscription rate if optimized correctly. And email subscription rates for any campaigns are 3 to 5%. So all of a sudden, you have this gap of 10 to 15% extra subscribers that are only in web push. So this is the big piece, is what I'm going to say. If optimized well, then you can get those anonymous users who are not even dropping their emails, and that's the power. The other thing I was going to say, I'm very tempted to say, given you talked about the e-learning is doing phenomenal. Doing the free course is like a great magnet, and then people make them subscribers, and then slowly selling them information products. This is just like a sweet spot in terms of things that we see people do, and this can work well. So apart from, let's say you're having 3,000 people sign up in email, you could have maybe another 5,000 in web push, and collectively, you could start seeing better results overall.
Yeah, no, that's what I want to do, is just funnel them all into web push where I can, and utilize that a lot better. But on a demo call, is that something you do for everyone?
So I was going to say, for the demo call, we do for all enterprise and all premium. And I mean, it's just, if you just reached out and said, hey, I love your demo. See, we are marketers. We love to actually make marketing campaigns. I must add another, like a quick pitch for my team. A lot of people who come on the demo are actually both marketers and technology folks. So they can help you with the install and the configuration, as well as the campaigns. And the other part is, given that each of us would have seen hundreds of sites, and the moment you said, hey, this is e-learning course, we'll tell you, what we know is working well for that industry, and quickly, you can just go live in an automated manner. I mean, I think the big thing for us is automation. So it's super easy. Once you're live, you don't have to do much. Your time is saved, and then just you can see this, and then some optimization that you can work on all the time. So
Perfect. Perfect. So I'm going to reach out to your team today and get this sorted once and for all, because having spoke to you, yeah, it's something I just need to do a lot more of. And people have actually been pushing me to do more on that side. It's just laziness on my part, and lack of understanding of the what exactly you can do with it. But yeah, it's certainly a good thing. But other than PushEngage, Ravi, you obviously come from a couple of different backgrounds. But prior to coming on here, you mentioned you were a marketer yourself, and obviously thoroughly enjoy this type of business. Obviously coming from venture capitalists and everything, you could have, probably made a lot more money doing that. So what is it that, really attracts you to marketing?
yeah, so I think it's a great question. So I would say I have seen people who actually become an entrepreneur, then do some angel investing, and then do venture capital. I have done my career in reverse. I have moved from very high paying jobs to low and no paying jobs, just following my heart. So when I was in Wall Street covering stocks, as an equity analyst, I used to cover stocks for my living. Those guys who talk about stock prediction, and I did well for a few years. That's pretty lucrative career. Then moved to venture, where built companies, we sold companies, then also got a chance to run that. And I've been kind of moving, but it's been just following my passion. And it's just, when I got into the venture capital, there was this special scenario. They said, hey, there is this company, this online division needs some help. Do you want to go in and just consult and help them? And that's how I got introduced to marketing. And I just felt, that's so natural. It's a lot of numbers, and it's a lot of stuff that I understand very well. I mean, and my technology background helped me, because a lot of the marketing is numbers plus technology and some, understanding of user behavior, and that just helped me do that well. And so when I came, I was just naturally like inclined to build marketing companies. And the first one I think I told you was build a coupon site, which we still run. At its peak, we were among the top coupon sites in India and a couple of geos, and that got me to learn a lot of the stuff around PPC, SEO, anything. I mean, those fundamentals. And
Yeah.
just, I mean, those are like the things that I enjoy the most. And yeah, so I mean, so I've been a marketer ever since. That's my story.
Yeah,
So.
no, it's it really is. Going from a lucrative job to a non-paying job when you're starting up a new business is an obscene, crazy angle into this industry. We normally go from being poor, just poor, full stop. So clearly, your passion is something that's obviously stood you in good stead going forward. So is there anything in the future, Ravi, that you're doing? Obviously, what I love about guys like yourself, who's got a marketing background, who then also has the technology brain, because I'm not technical enough to be able to build something like PushEngage. That's something I lack. But obviously, get super smart guys like you are always thinking ahead of the curve. What's next? What's coming out? Is there anything coming out in the future with you? If you get your eyes on any other projects that you're allowed to talk?
Sure. So I think we have a couple of things we have been looking at. See, what we realize is people are going to move to more personalization, and we have been building more platform where for e-commerce and some of those publishers, where we can integrate a lot more customer data, and we can do not only web push but maybe more channels. So you become like the single stop shop for a marketer. Now through for them, I'm able to, let's say, do not only web push, maybe SMS, maybe email, and through partnerships, through integration. So we want to be that single place where we gather your data for your customers and run personalized campaigns. So that's one thing that we are working on. You will also see some new product releases around, how do you use pop-ups on your site when users come to convert them into leads, just like you are capturing leads, and we think we have better understanding. So those are the immediate, but I gave both a longer term view. Like, one of the big pain points I feel for marketers is like doing holistic marketing end to end. Data is in each of these tools, and each data set is different. So can I make it so simple that single place of truth, single place of data, and from that drive all the channels? That will be a holy grail. And not for enterprises. Everybody does it for enterprises. We'll do for them as well, but for smaller businesses too, because they don't have too much time, but they are able to leverage it in a super easy way. So it shouldn't be complex integration. So that's kind of like our supervision we're trying to work towards. Let's see how we can make it happen one step at a time. But again, we are bootstrapped and doing reasonably fine. Again, I know coronavirus is here, so we are also trying to figure this out. But in general, as long as we think there's ROI, we're going to be fine. And we're just trying to make it easy for a marketer at a small or a medium-sized business to use us without having to, spend a ton of time integrating and in a personalized manner. That's what we want to do for a marketer
Yeah,
across all channels.
interesting. I will follow that and make sure that I keep hanging around with smart guys like you who can obviously help me automate and do things in the future. One last question, Ravi, and then I will let you go. You've mentioned text message marketing and various other good ways of getting to people. I had a guest on the podcast just last week, and he was talking about voice message marketing. Is that something you've ever tried or considered? I've never really heard of anyone doing it before, and I was like, voice drops, just trying to market people. Just curious to know your thoughts on that, if it worked, or is there something?
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty interesting. I mean, I think it could be an interesting new way, because you're sending a personalized message. It's a voice message, and I mean, I would take it a next level, maybe a video message drop. So I mean, I think there is a lot of innovation that can happen if I could drop a video which is 10 seconds to you, and you click and you watch it. It's like maybe like an ad or something. I don't know. I mean, that could be huge. I mean, and voice is just the first step to it. I think it could work well. I mean,
Yeah,
you'd be surprised. So, because just over a text message, who wants to read nowadays? It's like podcast, right? Nobody wants to read. I mean, people will still read, but fewer of them. So from reading, they're moving to listening. So same way, a text message is moving to voice. And I'm saying the next one is video. So
video. Yeah, interesting.
that's my idea for your previous guest.
Um,
No, as an entrepreneur, we get tons of ideas. So this, I mean, I don't know how it'll be, but I think the voice one seems pretty interesting, is what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, it's something I'm definitely going to have to look into more and explore. But sadly, Ravi, we are out of time. I do want to thank you very much for coming on and sharing tips and stuff like that about PushEngage. And obviously, it would be amazing to have you on in the future when you're releasing other things, and we can discuss, the additional elements to PushEngage. So it'd be amazing to obviously keep in touch and keep on top of everything that you're doing, and utilizing it for myself and obviously everyone listening.
Sure. So I was going to say thank you, Craig, and I want to give an offer to any of the viewer who is on this podcast or seeing this video. We'll be releasing a coupon code specifically for all of you, which will give you a discount if you listen to this and sign up for our site. So that'll be in the comments. But again, I encourage everybody to try, and we are also marketers right there. So take our help in building campaigns and get more traffic and revenue for yourself.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Ravi. It's been
Thanks.
a pleasure.